Hi, my name is Maya, and this is my first recorded discussion on the Populist Party. So, the Populist Party, also known as the People's Party, was conducted and made by farmers who felt as the other political parties, meaning the Democratic and Republican parties, weren't looking in the best interests of them and were also not willing to better help them and just cooperate with them and the wealthy, but instead we're doing things to just better the wealthy and find better ways for the wealthy to, you could say, function better in their communities. Economically, one of the economical problems that the farmers had that made them start the new political party were the tariffs they had on certain things that they needed to be able to farm. There were a lot of things that the farmers couldn't afford that the wealthy could, that made it harder for them to be able to make profit when it came to selling, especially because they started adding more tariffs and it was more expensive to be able to buy things that you needed to farm than you were actually making back, which was a huge letdown for the farmers. As well as the railroads, the farmers were one of the biggest people to have to use the railroads, and it wasn't economically ready for them, and it wasn't economically ready for them to use, while whereas the wealthy and the government weren't trying as well to make sure that the farmers could use it to help better their products and help get more stuff around. A social issue they also had was that the farmers felt very unseen and isolated by the political parties as well as by the wealthy. They felt as there was a huge separation in the rural and the urban populations, which made it even harder for them to get their point across and tell people like, hey, we genuinely need help. We genuinely, hey, let's work together to try to see where we can come in the middle. A huge political issue they had that brings them all to, that brought all of these three issues and showed the main one was no one tried to ask the farmers, hey, like, what can we do to help you? Instead, they constantly went to the wealthy, and the wealthy had had a higher opinion and had a higher way of sort of moving the way the political parties would face, because they had more structure and they had more money to be able to sort of move things around. One thing that I do agree with when it came to their problems that they had was transportation. I do believe that the government should have been able to work with the railroads as the populist party wanted, and should have been was able to make sure that their goods got around everywhere and that they were being used by the people, providing and showing the farmers like, hey, this is a step that we're willing to do and meet you in the middle with the railroads, and ensuring that you are able to transport goods and maybe lowering the tariffs, because the tariffs were really high for the farmers to be able to afford, and not making that money back was a huge letdown for them. And I think if the railroads and the transportation were to have been there, it would have been so much easier to get goods around, as well as the farmers feel a little bit at ease as if they were being listened to and not just pushed away. There is something that I do disagree with, and that is giving full money power to the people and not letting the state and national government sort of obtain and know records of what's going on with the money. I think that can cause many issues, especially considering that sometimes money is misused at all times, and without having regulations from the state and national government, the money can get lost, and that's the least thing anyone would want, would be the money to get lost. So being able to just have the government there to control and handle the money and not hold full control to where you can't access it in a bank, but enough regulations and control to be able to still have money in the bank, but still be able to show their community and show their people that the money's here and that it has not gotten anywhere. So that is my decisions on the first recorded discussion for our cats.